time for the first federal program on WROI Giant FM and streaming live on the First Federal Facebook page.
Yes, indeed, it's Friday morning, and Todd, it's pretty nice out. A little chilly, but it's nice out.
Good morning, Moose. Yes, it is very nice. As Winnie Pooh would say, yesterday was the blustery day. Today is not the blustery day, it looks like, but it's typical start to winter. 40 degrees, cloudy. Start of better things to come, right?
I'm counting down till spring.
Have you watched any pre-winter forecasts to know what's coming or anything like that?
No, I almost watched last night. I know Carrie Peugeot did her forecast on WSBT. I couldn't bring myself to watch it.
I caught that this morning before I came here. And slightly above average temperatures, above average precipitation, not participation.
Right.
Precipitation, and a couple of extreme snows, she said.
No,
But,
I'm not ready for it.
But above normal temperatures, she said that doesn't mean like really warm. So the
Yeah.
average is like 26 degrees and maybe slightly above that. And maybe more rain than snow this year.
Okay.
So that's good.
Yes.
Ready for a good weekend, Moose?
Yeah, it's going to be a nice, relaxing weekend at home for a change.
Well, today we got the T Squad here today. We got Tanner Lee next with Todd, myself here, and Todd Zeltwanger from Cultivate today. Todd's a good friend of the bank and radio and the show. Been on here numerous times before, and welcome, Todd.
Thank you very much, Todd. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Kind of usual calling it, Todd, how you doing?
Yeah.
I'm doing fine, Todd. Yeah. So
Could get confusing.
I could have Todd come in here and host the show today.
that is true.
Trio.
Trio, yeah. Forgot about that. So some news today. The CDC is expected to approve booster shots for Moderna and Pfizer sometime this weekend for every adult over 18. So keep your eyes on that. If you're interested in a booster shot, you may be available this weekend. Usually, since I work in technology at the bank, I kind of squeezed in Todd's tech talk. But today it's Todd's turkey talk.
Ooh, turkey.
Because it's that time of year, right?
Yes, it'll be Black Friday next time we see each other.
And you know, the president usually pardons a couple turkeys.
Yeah.
He's doing that this year. The turkeys are actually from Indiana.
Ooh.
Yeah. Any guess on the names? Do you know the names?
No.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Okay. Okay.
So I think they're getting pardoned this morning, I think. Then after they get pardoned, they're from Jasper, Indiana, the turkeys. Then they'll be going to Purdue University, where they'll live their life of retirement, I guess. They'll live in the Purdue Animal Science Research and Education Center, where they'll be given an indoor enclosed space, access to a shady, grassy area, according to a press release from Purdue.
Okay.
But maybe not too bad to be
No.
those two turkeys. The rest of the turkeys, they've got different.
The rest of them will be like, this isn't fair. Why is this happening to you?
No kidding.
I know usually this time of year you see information about what's the average Thanksgiving meal
Yeah.
cost. Well, I didn't see the cost, but I did see on the news last night where it's going to be up 14% this year, with the biggest cost of that being the turkey.
Yeah, I saw several places that this year's projected to be the most expensive Thanksgiving in history to date.
Okay,
Which,
well, that's not good news.
no.
So, with Todd Zeltwanger on today and talking about Thanksgiving turkeys, today's kind of a food-themed show today.
Okay.
Todd's going to be talking about Cultivate, and we'll get into that in a little bit. I have a food trivia question for you, Moose.
Okay.
According to grillcookbake.com, what is the most popular Thanksgiving side dish in Indiana? Do you want me to give you choices, or do you want to?
Yes, please.
Okay. A, deviled eggs. B, mashed potatoes. C, stuffing. D, green bean casserole. I think all
Okay.
those appear at the usually Thanksgiving tables that I'm at, so we'll give you a chance, Todd, to get in on this
All right.
too.
I got one in mind.
Okay.
So,
Any of those your favorites or anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we
The
don't want to give
latter
away.
three.
Sorry, what?
The latter three.
The latter three. Okay, yeah. That's true. I also kind of throw in there. My wife makes a great broccoli casserole too.
Yeah.
Then you got to throw in the pies too. But those aren't choices today. Okay.
Yeah.
Sports. So we'll get Tanner in here to talk a little bit about sports before we get to Todd Zeltwanger from Cultivate. Welcome, Tanner.
Morning. a lot of sports going on. I saw there was some local girls basketball going on last night. Rochester was defeated in their first conference game of the year. It's hard to believe conference season has already started, but it's kind of mixed in with the non-conference now anymore.
Yeah.
They lost to Peru, but I saw the Lady Vikings, Tippecanoe Valley Vikings, got their first win of the season last night over Logansport. Caston got a win, and the Winnemac unfortunately came up short last night in the loss. But boys will be starting here soon too. So swimming's in action now. So it's that time. All the winter sports are getting cranked up.
Yeah, I can't wait till you have to go through a whole list of winter sports, basketball,
Well,
swimming, wrestling.
that's why I got to pick my spots, or it'd be a full show of just local sports. So.
Then there'll be those days where you have to say, well, our schedule was changed this weekend because of snow cancellations,
Exactly.
and now contact your local athletic department for the next scheduled day.
Exactly, yeah. So we know the snowy weather's
It's
coming
coming.
sooner or later. So.
Yeah.
Might be some on Sunday.
Might be
Yeah.
some on Sunday, yes. I got a lot of local college sports going on too. Not only college football starting to wrap up, you got college basketball cranking up. Indiana, Purdue, Notre Dame, Butler have all been in action this week. Indiana, Purdue, Notre Dame are still undefeated as of today. Butler got handed their first loss the other night to Michigan State. The Big Ten's not doing very well in the Gavitt games against the Big East. I think the Big Ten's only won one or two of those games.
Yeah, as of like when the Hoosiers played the other night, they were the second win. I think.
Right, and I know Ohio State lost yesterday to Xavier, so
Interesting.
yeah, the Big Ten's for whatever reason not looking really good. Actually, I think they became the first conference in the history to have 3 ranked opponents beat by unranked opponents in the same week.
That's not a
Wow.
great
No,
start.
no. Michigan
Wow.
lost, Ohio State lost, and Illinois lost.
It's still early, and there's
It
always
is,
next week.
it is,
right?
right. So, Indiana's got Louisiana this weekend. I think that game's on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. And Purdue plays out in Connecticut against North Carolina tomorrow. Then win or lose, they'll face either Villanova or Tennessee on Sunday. So they're guaranteed to play 2 ranked teams this weekend.
Those are big games.
Big games,
National
yeah.
TV,
Yep.
good for recruiting, things
Yep.
like that.
So top 20, all 4 teams are top 20, and Villanova and Purdue are top 10. So, yeah.
Any early predictions from Tanner?
Well, I mean, I got to go with the Boilers.
Okay.
So,
Of course.
it's weird being kind of confident going into a game against North Carolina. That's something I'm unfamiliar with. So
As an Indiana fan, I said, yeah, but it's not the North Carolina it used to be.
you're right. It's not new coach Hubert Davis, and yeah, we'll see. I don't know. You know they got talent. That's the thing that's always scary about them. On the college football front, Purdue, IU, and Notre Dame all in action this weekend. Indiana's hosting Minnesota, who's 6-4. It's gonna
No
be
comment.
It's going to be a senior day in Bloomington. Minnesota is only a touchdown favorite. So that game's at 3:30 on the Big Ten Network. Purdue will be before that game on the Big Ten Network. They got bad L handed to them last week against Ohio State. But they're 11-point favorites this weekend. The game's billed at Northwestern, but it's going to be played at Wrigley Field, where Chicago Cubs play. So
Interesting.
a little different. First football game held at Wrigley Field since 2010.
Okay.
Which was Northwestern was in that,
yeah.
that one, yeah.
So they've made some adjustments. The field, I saw a picture of it yesterday, looks good, but still pretty tight in some areas. Past one of the end zones,
No
the
wonder you're
right
running full
walls
speed
there.
at the end zone into right field.
Be careful throwing a fade to the right side of the end zone there too. You might hit the wall
There's that brick wall there.
or the fans in the stands. So hopefully Aiden O'Connell and David Bell are
I'll
careful
figure it
on that one. But that should be a fun game to watch. And then Notre Dame hosts Georgia Tech tomorrow night. Notre Dame's 17-point favorites that game, or tomorrow afternoon I should say. That's 2:30 on NBC. I think they played 3 night games in a row, so I've been used to saying at night, but that one's afternoon game. So a lot of college football action going on this weekend as we're getting close to the end of the season, bowl season, playoff season, all that good stuff. NFL, Colts have a big one this weekend. They're 5-5. They travel to Buffalo to face the 6-3 Bills. That game's at 1 o'clock on CBS on Sunday. The Bills are 7-point favorites. Once again, Colts and Bears fans are going to have the problem being on the same time, same channel. Bears play at 1 o'clock on CBS on Sunday. They host the Ravens, who are 6-3, and the Ravens are 6-point favorites.
So that means locally we probably won't get the Colts. So good chance to listen to WROI.
Right.
Because
Yep.
I think South Bend's the Bears market actually. So
Yes, I think you're
listen
right.
to them on this radio
Yep.
station.
Yep, there you go. Listen to the Colts, watch the Bears.
Yep. Do both at
Great
the same
stuff.
time. Yep. Yeah, both teams need wins there as kind of start the second half of the season going forward.
I did see on SportsCenter last night where they're showing the AFC playoff picture. It has the Colts now in the hunt
In the hunt, yep.
with your Denver Broncos.
And I wouldn't call the Broncos in the hunt, but that's nice of them to put that graphic on there. Glad they have a bye week this week, to say the least.
Don't
But,
think I saw
Yeah,
Cleveland.
no. we're not.
Yeah, they were there actually.
Uh,
Because they're 5-5. Right?
yeah, nobody wants to win the AFC right now, it seems like. And the NFL's been kind of wacky this year. A lot of upsets. And unfortunately, New England, I think they held on to win last night, I believe. I kind of fell asleep before that game was over. But they're coming on strong, too. All of a sudden, they've won 5 straight. So, yeah, I think
It's
they got
New England.
I think they got the quarterback of their future, too. It looks like they might have got the best one in the rookie class. So, typical.
So their attempt to show a certain other person that they don't need him anymore.
Yeah, looks like they might have found their next Tom Brady. Maybe not quite Tom Brady, but it looks like they have a good one in Mac Jones.
It's amazing some of the teams that passed over Matt Jones
Yep.
too. That had their chance to do that.
Denver, cough, cough.
I knew that. That's why I said that.
Yep. Oh, I know. Still looking for that quarterback to replace good old Peyton Manning from 6 years ago.
And John Elway.
And John Elway from years before
Those
that.
iconic people you can never
Yeah.
you always
Hard
expect
shoes to
something.
fill there. Got some tidbits here this morning. On this date, 1863, U.S. President Abraham Lincoln delivered his Gettysburg Address. You ever have to memorize that and say that in school back in the day, Paul?
No.
No?
The most was the intro, fourscore and
yeah.
7 years ago.
Yep.
That was it. That's
Yeah.
all I know of it.
Yeah, inscribed on the wall behind Lincoln at the Washington.
Yep.
Lincoln
Lincoln
Memorial.
Yep. On this day in 1965, Kellogg's Pop-Tarts pastries were created. You a Pop-Tart guy?
Yes, I am.
I've always been a big
I
Pop-Tart
like
fan.
Pop-Tarts too. What's my favorite flavors?
Fudge, strawberry.
Brown sugar, cinnamon, and blueberry.
Yeah, those are all good. I like all those that everybody mentioned, so
So we're gonna stop at the grocery store and get some on the way back to work, Tanner?
might not be a bad idea.
Okay.
Just have a Pop-Tart day.
Yeah.
On this day, 1969, Apollo 12's Charles Conrad and Alan Bean became the 3rd and 4th humans on the moon.
Ooh.
I should have looked how many have been on the moon, but
I think I knew that at one point.
Yeah.
Maybe 8.
yeah, it sounds right. I thought
8
it
or
was
10.
getting close to double digits, if not there already. So, and today's World Toilet Day. Have a bad day. I don't like that one.
Wow.
Who wants to have a bad day?
Right.
Telling us to have a
Yes,
bad day.
prepared for the World Toilet.
Yeah, I guess.
You're supposed to tell your enemies to have a bad day, apparently.
Play Monopoly Day.
That's good.
There, if you have a couple hours to spare. use
Yeah, it
Monopoly
kind of
to
goes
take
with
little
have a
out.
bad day.
And carbonated beverage with caffeine day.
That's how you pick
Got mine.
yourself up after the
Yeah.
World Toilet Day to have a bad day in the
yeah.
Monopoly game because
Yep.
you need some caffeine to
Yep.
stay
Yep.
awake.
Might be frustrated from the combination of the first 3. So
Yes.
there you go.
Well, thank you, Tanner.
You're welcome.
Have some great upcoming events happening. Rochester High School Tri-F is presenting Radium Girls tonight, tomorrow at 7 p.m. at the high school auditorium. Tickets are $10 at the door. So that if you're looking for something to do tonight or tomorrow, stay local, support the high school. Radium Girls might be something to check out. There's a craft show going on tomorrow at the Fulton County Museum from 9 to 2 and a toy show on Sunday from 9 to 3. So you can go see the shows tonight, go to the craft show and toy show this weekend. Lots to do. Also, the Knights of Columbus are holding a fundraising this Sunday from 8 to 11 a.m. They'll be serving a free offering breakfast from 8:30 to 10:30, followed by a pie auction. This is an annual event at the St. Joseph Parish Hall in Rochester. 100% of the proceeds are used to purchase medicine for the medical clinic of Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception in Mariana, Haiti. So
Okay.
that's a good thing to support also. So
Absolutely.
several upcoming events, plus also I noticed the miracle trees are up in Rochester and in Akron and Mentone, so it's a good thing you do to help out the community for people that may not have the opportunity to experience a great Christmas. Go up and pick out a family name off there and see if you can help out and encourage that.
Yeah.
So moving on today, money news. The Dow finished down 60 points yesterday, roughly at 35,870. That's actually the 4th consecutive session of losing, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's the longest streak since mid-June.
Mm.
So positive data helped offset some of those concerns, with number of Americans filing for first-time unemployment benefits fell to 310,000 a week, ending September 4th. It's a little data that's old, but that marked a pandemic low, so that's a good trend. And claims have trended lower since July, a sign that employers are holding on to workers, which is good.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, good to hear, even though you still see lots of help wanted signs
Yeah.
out there, and that's kind of an issue for our economy right now. Also, CVS announced they'll close over 900 stores over the next 3 years. Nearly
Yeah.
10% of their locations.
That's crazy to think.
Yeah. No names have been listed, but they're going to add more health services at the remaining locations.
Okay.
So what they're saying basically is the company's evaluating changes in population, consumer buying patterns, and future health needs to make sure they have the right kind of stores in the right locations for consumers. So don't like to see things closing like that, but that's part of the news today. First Federal Savings Bank. Again, we're open today from 8:30 to 5, and tomorrow from 8:30 to noon. You can always bank with us online through our mobile app or our ATM. We're highlighting basically our Simply Free checking account. Now, Moose, Simply Free business checking account, and perfect for this time of year, maybe holidays coming up. When you open a new checking account, you get a free slate cheeseburger.
Yeah, and Tanner was going to bring one of those today, but he was so focused on making sure that this was an absolutely great show going into Thanksgiving that it slipped his mind.
I even have one in my office ready to go, and it's still sitting there.
The check's in the mail.
Yeah.
So we'll get you one. I know Tanner will follow through on his word.
Oh, I like showing them on camera to everybody so they can see them.
Also, for our mortgage loans, rates are still low, so it's a good time to look at refinancing or buying a home. If you buy a home, we have a purchase special. If we disclose the loan from now through December 31st with certain conditions, we'll give you a lender credit of $700 towards the closing costs. So that makes the closing a little bit more affordable, and rates are still low, so it's a good time to look at, if you're thinking about refinancing and haven't done it already, contact Stacy Wilson or Ben Dalton in Rochester and Winamac, or any of our other loan originators in our offices in Mishawaka, Elkhart, Bremen, or Plymouth. Be happy to help you out. We also offer commercial lending. We've had a great growth in commercial lending this year. Lindy Breeden and Zach Reuter and Monica Figueroa are the commercial lending team, and they're doing a great job. Happy to help people out. If you have any small business needs, give us a call, and Lindy can help you out with that. So that's the First Federal portion of the show this morning. A plug for that. We're the only locally owned bank in Fulton County. We don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. And borrowers must meet underwriting conditions. We are FDIC insured and an equal housing lender. Our NMLS number is 399927.
And that makes us legal.
Thank you. We welcome Todd Zeltwanger today. Welcome, Todd.
Todd, thanks again for having me. It's great to be here.
Great. You're with Cultivate.
I
Why don't
am.
you tell us what Cultivate is and what your role is there?
Cultivate is a food rescue not-for-profit organization. It's based in South Bend, and my role is the director of fund development. Not fund development, but fund.
You have fun at it, probably.
We do, absolutely do. And it's an organization that covers St. Joseph, Elkhart, and Marshall County with what we do. And basically our mission is to rescue prepared, unserved food and even unprepared food from going into a landfill. Now when I say food rescue, that's what it means. Keeps it from getting wasted and thrown away.
So that means that you're not taking leftovers, or you're not
Correct.
taking garbage.
We're not going to the Golden Corral at midnight and taking food off the buffet line and rescuing it.
On your website, there's a great story about what food rescue is, so why don't you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, in essence, it's just taking food that has been perfect. I'll give you an example. If food that the Notre Dame home, we talked about Notre Dame, the home football games. That's food that's up in the suites that's served. It's a game-long buffet, okay? So it's all you can eat all game long. So you can never run out of food. So you're going to obviously over-prepare. So there's a lot of food that gets put in a hot box that's getting ready to come out onto the line, buffet line, and all the suites, but never makes it out there. That is food that they cannot keep. And that is food that would be thrown away and wasted. So we in essence go underneath the stadium with our 26-foot refrigerated truck at the end of the third quarter. And you might see us tomorrow if you're at the game, but we go underneath, they bring the food down in the elevator, we load it onto our truck, we take it back to our facility, which is on Prairie Avenue in South Bend. We weigh that food in, every item that comes back, we weigh it in, log it in, put it into our cooler, and then volunteers come in the following week and help put meals together with that food. So that's in essence is kind of a rescue example.
So they take that and put it in individual trays and seal the trays and then refrigerate the trays so it still stays fresh.
In essence, that's what happens. Is usually a protein, a vegetable, and a starch that goes into our meal. So it's a healthy, nutritious meal, and made by some of the best chefs in the area. And then it's like an assembly line. And we've had some of your folks from the Bremen branch, maybe even Mishawaka, I'm not for sure, that have come over to volunteer in our facility. And it's like an assembly line. Somebody puts in the protein, somebody the vegetable, somebody the starch. It's passed along to a sealing machine, covers it up, put onto a tray, and then into our freezer. And then those meals are distributed to food insecure, mainly elementary school-age children in those 3 counties on the weekends. A lot of these kids that are on the free and reduced lunch program, they eat breakfast and lunch at the school Monday through Friday, but oftentimes on the weekend they have little to no food at home for a variety of reasons. And so that's what our meals do, is bridge that 68-hour gap between Friday lunch and Monday morning breakfast.
So I know you have a backpack program. Do those meals go into the backpacks then?
They do, and they did before the pandemic more so, but after the pandemic with all the different distribution challenges we had, we're just putting them into grocery bags now. And taking them to the school, and then they send them home with the children that they can put them back in their freezer, and then they're microwavable meals. There's usually 4 lunch dinners and 2 breakfasts for each child every weekend. And this school year we're doing 1,000 students in the 3 county areas. So that's 6,000 meals a week that we're putting together and sending out into the community.
And that food, a lot of that comes from Food Rescue from places like Notre Dame or from their athletic department.
Yes, we get it from the
meal tables,
the football team too. Yeah, the training table from the breakfast, lunch, dinners that they feed the players, and then places like Trader Joe's is a big contributor. They just opened a store up there in South Bend. We're getting about 3,000 pounds of food from them every weekend.
Well, that's great.
Wow.
And mainly produce and things of that nature.
So serving 1,000 students, that's remarkable. In essence, those kids may go hungry if they didn't have that.
That's right.
Have Cultivate in place. So thank you for
Well,
what you're
and
doing.
it's kindergarten through 2nd grade is kind of our major area of focus, because those students, they aren't able to go out and get a job, right? If they're for some reason not getting taken care of at home. So those are the most vulnerable that we're trying to reach and feed, and we're making a difference.
There's some great videos on the Cultivate website. I recommend listeners go out to check those out. It kind of shows some of the process of the food rescue. Why don't you highlight what your website is?
Yeah, cultivateculinary.com. If you go to that website, you can find that Todd mentioned a couple of stories and things you can click onto. And if you'd like to help us out, because in my role, since we don't sell our meals, we give them away. So we rely totally 100% on donations from individual people, from companies, from foundations, churches, service clubs. Those are the 5 main categories of donors. There's a place to make an online donation. You can sponsor a student for $35 a month, and that provides those 6 meals to them every single weekend. There's a button on the website there, Donate Now. Click on that, it'll walk you through. Another, if I can mention quickly, a program that we just launched here in this past year is called the Cultivate Cares Food Network. And that kind of came about during the pandemic. There was a lot of food out there in the system that was kind of just out there, and we needed somebody to kind of help orchestrate getting that food in if we were going to do something positive with it. So we have a full-time person now who kind of serves as our food procurement specialist. So now a lot of that bulk food is coming in to Cultivate. We have about 100 food pantries in St. Joe, Elkhart, Marshall County that we're now able to let them know each week what items we have available, and they can send an email back and say, I'd like, this and that, and we can either deliver it or they can come pick it up from us. So that's more food and those opportunities to support that program as well. And so we feel like we're really trying to have a positive impact in not only the backpack program, but then for the pantries.
So the Cultivate Cares Food Network really is a supplier to a lot of the food pantries.
Correct.
And helps make
The
sure.
basic staple items, the milk, the bread, the eggs, the cheese, items that the clients need and want. And those are the ones that oftentimes that are most in demand and that we have, and how we can get those back out to those folks and keep them well nourished.
So we're talking to Todd Zeltwanger, the Director of Fund Development
There you go.
for Cultivate Food Rescue. There's a lot of programs going on in there. What are some other programs that you have?
Well, one of the things we're trying to launch here, we hope by next fall, is going to be a culinary training program for high school age students.
Okay.
They can come in and get their community service hours, also get a certificate. They can graduate high school with a now certificate in technical program and that kind of thing, and be able to get a job in the food service industry, because there's many jobs available in that world.
That's what we see right now with the economy and pandemic. There's all kinds of jobs out there. So you're equipping students with skills to basically get a leg up on the
That's right.
start for that.
Absolutely. We had to kind of put a pause on that program with the pandemic, but we hope by next fall we'll have that up and running. So yeah, those are and then the volunteer opportunities I mentioned earlier. You can go online and see where the times are. We have a lot of families, a lot of churches, a lot of businesses that come in and volunteer, and so we'd love to have more groups from First Federal come in whenever that's possible. I know Greg up there and his team are great supporters. We've had great support. Greg Danner, right, but we've had great support from First Federal Savings Bank. You guys have been terrific, and we couldn't do what we do without you.
Well, thank you very much. You've been a friend of the bank and friend of the show for many years, and we appreciate what you're doing and what your organization is doing in our markets in the northern Indiana, and it's a great need that's being partially met by Cultivate, and that's awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you, Todd. And I just would, if Mr. Belcher's listening this morning, I'd just like to say hello. He's been a friend for a number of years. I haven't seen him in a while, but just want to wish him well.
And I'm sure. Thank you very much. I'm sure he appreciates that. Dick does usually listen because Tanner and I talk to him usually later in the day, and,
Good.
And he usually has some comments for us to help us out with the show too. So that's good. Dick's always still in
Awesome.
really involved
Awesome.
in the bank and decisions and in the radio show. So we appreciate that. And
Great.
what are some other things we should know about Cultivate as we start to wind down here?
Well, we got a golf outing coming up next May, and I know Tanner's been out there. We'll be at Swan Lake again.
I think we usually have a team. The bank has a team that participates.
They do, yeah. And I've seen Tanner. He's usually the anchor of the foursome there. Usually the guy who's about 275 down the middle. And so that's a team you always have to look out for.
Well, every team has a ringer.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. But last year, actually,
player.
we had 52 teams. We used both golf courses. We had 26 teams on each course. We had a great turnout. And then we also have what's called Taste of Hope, which is our annual fundraiser gala event, which is in the fall. That's in September. But that's an opportunity for people to come and learn more about what we do and enjoy some food from some guest chefs and things like that. So, yeah, those are opportunities to get involved. So, like I said, check out the website. If you can help us out in any way with the donation, we'd appreciate it. And because we're really about two things, food and funding. The more of those two things we have, the more people we can help. And we want to make an even greater impact in the months and years to come.
And you know more than anybody from what you do, there's a dire need. There's a lot of people that are going hungry, and that this is one way that people can help out with that and try to meet some of those needs.
Especially in these days we live in now, we don't think the need's going away anytime soon. And we get notes and emails from folks, parents even, of students that have brought these meals home and have said, hey, you wouldn't believe how much these have helped. My husband or so was laid off from work, and we needed this help, and now we were eating ramen noodles and granola bars before, and now my child's getting these healthy, nutritious meals, and it helps them in a couple of ways: academic performance, attendance, and behavior in school.
There's all kinds of studies that show that.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to be at your best in school if you're hungry all the time.
Right. So it is Thanksgiving week. We're going to be celebrating with our families and friends. Wish everybody a safe and healthy Thanksgiving, but also we recognize that everybody may not be as fortunate as others, and this is a great way to help out long term through donations or volunteers, and we appreciate what Cultivate does and all you do, Todd.
Thank you, Todd, very much. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and everybody listening out there, thanks for taking the time, and we'd love to see you. If you want to come up for a tour sometime, check out our website. I'd love to give you a tour, show you around.
That's great. Thank you for everything you do, Todd.
Thank you.
Todd Zeltwanger was our guest from Cultivate. He's Director of Fund Development, right?
Yes,
Fund Development Director, yes.
That's right.
I got that right.
You bet.
So, on to Thanksgiving trivia.
Let's do it.
Favorite side dish at Thanksgiving in Indiana? A, deviled eggs, B, mashed potatoes, C, stuffing, D, green bean casserole.
I'm going C.
C. Todd says C, stuffing.
Well, I'm gonna go A.
A.
and I have reasoning behind that. It's not just because that's my favorite side dish.
Okay. First, let's hit the stuffing part. I mean, there's all
Yeah.
kinds of stuffing. There's cornbread, there's oyster, there's traditional. What's your favorite, Todd?
Traditional.
Traditional, okay.
Yeah.
Now, why deviled eggs?
Well, I actually about 3 weeks ago, was listening to another radio program where a gentleman was going over Thanksgiving dinner and some of the most favorite and least favorite side dishes in Indiana.
Okay, so you've done your homework. And then,
Yeah.
of course, you're right again, deviled eggs.
Sweet.
Oh.
You know, they're always on our Thanksgiving table, like when we
They
go
are.
to different families, like my wife's family or our family, and people eat them. I'm not a fan of them, but they're always on somebody's Thanksgiving table. So,
Yep. Yep.
so
That is
congratulations, right again.
Thank you. Tanner should really
I thought I
try
had you stumped that time,
Yeah.
darn it.
He's gotten close a few times and gotten a few stumps on me here lately, but
Maybe Tanner and I will team up next time and really try to stump you.
all right.
We want to wish a happy Thanksgiving to everybody. If you're traveling this week, have safe travels, stay healthy. We're going to close with some words of wisdom. From B.C. Forbes, a Scottish journalist, real riches are the riches possessed inside. So we have a lot to be thankful for, so have a great Thanksgiving, everyone.
Those are great words of wisdom. We'll
Thank
see
you.
you again next week.
Thank you, Moose.
Thank you.